Welcome back to 6 and 6, where we cover 6 stories from around the world in 6 minutes or less. With that said, start your timer. We begin to South America today, where Venezuela has rejected a U.S. proposal to designate the Cartel de los Soyos as a terrorist organization, calling the plan ridiculous. The Venezuelan government views this as part of a broader U.S. campaign to pressure and discredit President Nicolas Maduro's administration through diplomatic and sanction-based actions. Venezuela maintains that the allegations of military involvement in drug trafficking are unsubstantiated and politically motivated. From Reuters, quote, "The designation of the Cartel de los Soyos as a terrorist organization by the United States is seen by the Venezuelan government as an attempt to unjustly further demonize the leadership and create an illusion of a narco-state, which they firmly deny," the Venezuelan foreign minister Felix Palisquincia stated, end quote. Next, we travel across the Atlantic to Africa, where the Rapid Support Force in Sudan have announced their intention to implement a ceasefire in November, or the end of November of this month, signaling a potential de-escalation of ongoing regional conflicts. The decision comes amid international pressures to restore stability and address humanitarian crises in the region. The RSF's declaration represents a possible opportunity for peace negotiations and dialogue among various armed factions and the government. And from Reuters, quote, "We recognize the immense suffering that the prolonged conflict has caused for the people of Sudan, and it's time to put our people's interests first." Additionally, international observers have cautioned that, quote, "While the announcement is a positive step, its implementation remains fraught with challenges, including achieving consensus among all involved factions and rebuilding trust in the process," end quote. Next, we travel back across the Atlantic to North America, where Honduras is preparing for a critical presidential election at the end of this month, amid heightened political tensions and allegations of potential electoral fraud. International observers have been deployed to monitor the voting process and ensure transparency, while opposition parties continue to voice concerns about potential electoral manipulation. The election is viewed as a pivotal moment that could significantly impact the country's political stability and democratic trajectory. From Reuters, quote, "Anxiety among the citizens grow, fearing that the election could be marred by conflicts similar to those of previous years. The global community remains watchful and aware of broader implications for the stability of the Central American region," end quote. Next, we travel across the Pacific to Indonesia, where the Indonesia Investment Authority is strategically expanding its investment portfolio by targeting AI and digital infrastructure opportunities globally. Through strategic partnerships and collaborations with industry leaders, the INA aims to enhance Indonesia's technical capabilities and competitiveness in emerging digital economies. This initiative represents a forward-looking approach to diversify investments and focus on fostering innovation-driven growth. From Reuters, quote, "We are partnering with experienced industry leaders and innovators, and we plan to leverage cutting-edge technologies and bring those advancements back to our domestic market. This initial investment is crucial for enhancing our digital economy, creating market diversity, and opening new pathways," end quote. Further to the south, far-right Australian Senator Pauline Hanson wore a burqa in Parliament to call for its ban, sparking significant controversy and condemnation. Her provocative act was widely criticized as disrespectful and divisive, with Attorney General George Brandish strongly denouncing her actions. The incident highlighted ongoing tensions surrounding immigration, multiculturalism, and religious freedoms in Australia. From Reuters, quote, "We are not a country that uses fear as a political tactic, but you certainly have succeeded in your mission," George Brandish said, quote, and he also went on to say, "It's absolutely consistent with being a prudent terrorist target, one of the 5 prime terrorist targets. But there's a very strong view in this chamber that have come from every single corner in this place, and I will heavily criticize you for doing what you did," end quote. And finally, we ended today with the French government that has led Prime Minister Isabelle Borne to navigate a complex budget negotiation for the 2026 political tensions. Despite internal challenges, the administration remains committed to fiscal discipline. From Reuters, quote, "Our strategy is centered on prudent financial stewardship, ensuring we do not waver in our commitment to fiscal responsibility even in the face of internal rifts," Bruno Le Maire said, quote, "The stability of the nation's finances is a priority amongst evolving challenges." It's also coming from Elizabeth de Morn. And with all that, if you want to read any of today's articles, all of them will be linked in the description below the like and subscribe button. Also down there, you can find the podcast on Spotify, Podcast, Podvine, as well as the Twitter handle at Your Daily Flip, where I post links to these episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and the normal podcast that comes out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, with all that said, there's only one more thing to say. Stay safe. Don't die.